casual Transformers fan, but whenever I do encounter the robots in plain sight, I usually enjoy whatever they have in store, even if I do have problems with certain aspects of certain series. Recently, I saw Transformers Siege, the first part of the War for Cybertron series on Netflix, and...
Well, I'll kill you.
Siege is very nice animation and character models, but everything else was either boring or frustrating. I'm about to go into more detail, but if you like Siege, that's great. I'm generally happy you can find something entertaining in this series, but I don't like lying to myself and saying I enjoyed it when I found it to be trash, and hopefully you'll understand why. Siege was a weird show from the start because it's based on a toy line that already came out as opposed to past Transformers series where the toy line and show would come out at the same time. I could say this show has no reason to exist since at the time it came out, Earthrise toys were in stores as opposed to Siege toys, but hey, if the show's entertaining, then who cares what it's based on? As for the premise of Siege, Megatron and the Decepticons have controlled Cybertron and are on track to be the Autobot Resistance, led by Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus. Throughout the series, lore is expanded on, backstories are revealed, characters die, and battles are fought, but I don't want to do the recap of jokes, then final thoughts format for this review. Instead, I'm going to analyze each aspect of the show I find noteworthy and then give you my final thoughts. While Siege does lean a lot on Generation 1 imagery for the Transformers designs with little variation, they're still good designs, even if there are tiny quirks that look odd. As for the Transformers' personalities, oof. There's a lot of Transformers in this series, and most of them don't have personality, and the ones that do have personality end up unappealing most of the time. Ultra Magnus is an idiot, specifically with his attempts to sabotage the Decepticons from the inside with stuff like making a call to the Autobots that can be easily traced. This makes me wonder, how the hell did he survive this long in the war with tactics like this? Optimus Prime is okay on his own, though he's nothing special compared to the other Primes in the franchise. I mean, he's heroic and will defend the Autobots by any means, but there's not that extra spice to make him interesting in my opinion. And then we have Alita 1. Oh god, Alita 1. Alita has one job in this show, and that's to tell Prime that his current plan is a bad idea, which is fine on its own, but the problem is that's all she does! I can't remember another character trait of Alita that isn't leading Autobots into battle or having repetitive conversations with Prime. She's easily my least favorite character in Siege. Bumblebee is easily the best Autobot character by default, but that doesn't mean he's great. He is okay, though the take of him being an average guy trying to scrape by during wartime is interesting and had potential. But then he gets all the knowledge of Cybertron when Magnus dies, making him into a special chosen one, completely destroying the initial appeal of Siege Bumblebee. He doesn't even get to keep the knowledge, he loses it by the end of the series. The Decepticons get a better end of the stick, but when that stick isn't that good in the first place, that's not saying much. Megatron is fine, I do like him in quite a few scenes as a cunning dictator, but other than his funky lips, he doesn't leave that big of an impact on me, except for one scene I'll talk about later. Jetfire had a cool concept, betraying the Decepticons and joining the Autobots. It had a lot of promise, but I didn't really care for Jetfire, so I didn't feel much when he betrayed Megatron. Starscream, Soundwave, and Shockwave are really disappointing to see, as while they have some of their iconic traits like Starscream's whininess and Soundwave's stoic behavior, they don't have much of the pizzazz of the other versions, which brings up the issue of the voice direction. Now, all the voice actors did fine with what they were given, but the problem comes of how they were directed. Professional voice actor Transformers alumni Gary Chalk, who voiced Optimus Primal and Optimus Prime in Beast Wars and the Unicron trilogy respectively, said it best. Everyone was at a low energy, trying to be serious, with no visual distinctions between the characters. Oh boy, I finally get to talk about the writing and how dull it is. Judging from these writers' previous works on Megas XLR, The Clone Wars, and Thundercats 2011, you'd think we get a mix of fun, silly robot action and touching emotional moments, but instead we get emo 12-year-old's version of Transformers. Despite this claim, the story beats of Siege aren't that bad. The premise of the Autobots fighting a losing battle along with the set pieces we see could have made for some cool scenes, but the tone of the series tries way too hard to be serious. I don't mind Transformers being serious, but come on, it's freaking Transformers. Transforming robots, have some fun with it. Siege is just constant seriousness, and because I never got a chance to attach or like these versions of the Transformers along with the gritty way the show was written, it was mostly boring. I'm lucky this was a 6-episode series because I don't think I would willingly continue after episode 5 of a 13-episode series like this. When Transformers zombies are just another footnote in the series, there's something wrong here. Before I reach the final verdict, I want to talk about a moment that stood out to me in Siege for all the wrong reasons. In episode 3, Ultra Magnus tries to escape and has this whole scene with Megatron where he fails to shoot him. The delivery and cinematography of the scene was trying so hard to be serious and angsty, it made me laugh out loud.
The trigger. You have too much honor to shoot someone in the back. Even me. Magnus, you should have taken the shot. You could have ended the war.
At that moment it struck me that Siege felt like a dark parody of Transformers with no self-awareness. I heard that it's better than the Machinima-produced shows, but even if it is, Siege is still a big pile of trash on its own. I hope the upcoming sequels, Earthrise and Kingdom, will fix most of the problems I have with Siege, because I don't like seeing a series with a lot of promise and talented people working on it, ending up unenjoyable. Siege made me so depressed. Nothing can make me feel better now.
私立ジャスティス学園から風間明が参戦することに
なりました。Yo! Let's go! Yo!